This lesson is an introduction to inventory management and managing your inventory when selling on Amazon. When you're just getting started selling on Amazon, you're not going to have much inventory to manage, and you're probably just going to be starting off with one SKU. But as you grow, proper inventory management is absolutely vital. Now, there's really two main rules of inventory management. And the first one is don't run out. Now, when you're just starting out, it's a little bit tough to estimate how many units you're going to sell because Amazon doesn't really give you any of that data. So, it's really fine. And honestly, you're going to expect you're going to run out at least once or twice when you're just getting started. However, once you're up and running, you really want to try and never run out of inventory because, first of all, you're not making any money while you're out of inventory. And second of all, you're going to find that your rankings will drop, which makes sense because if you don't have a product in inventory, why would Amazon rank your product high? Now, if and when you do run out and your ranking drops, don't worry about that too much. As long as you're getting that inventory back in within a reasonable period of time, you'll find your rankings will climb back to where they were relatively quickly. Now, it's a little bit different for everyone, and it also depends on how long you're out of inventory for. But the less time you're out of inventory, the better. Now, the second main rule of inventory management is don't order too much. So, whereby when you order too little, it may cause you to run out and unable to fill orders. But if you order too much inventory, then really that's cash that you have tied up. You're going to find that as you go along, that inventory management is really a little bit of an art and a little bit of a science. And you need to learn to balance between those two things. To manage your inventory well, you're going to need to know your inventory lead time. Now, the inventory lead time is really the time it takes from when you order your inventory from your supplier to the time that it's really available for sale. You're going to need to know all the aspects of this process, which would include things like contacting your supplier and getting the order into their system. You might find that once you contact your supplier, they might have a bit of a wait, maybe 2-3 days or 2-3 weeks, just depending on the product and the time of year, before they can even get your order into production. Then there's the actual production time, and that might also include things like packaging. Then, of course, shipping the products to FBA. And finally, once that product arrives at FBA, it does take them some time to process it. Sometimes it can be the same day or within 1 or 2 days. Other times you could be looking at over a week. If you send inventory to FBA at a particularly busy time of the year, such as right around Black Friday or right around Christmas, FBA can be very overwhelmed and very swamped, and they might not get your inventory logged in for well over a week. So just be aware of that time that FBA takes to process that inventory and to log it in to make it available for sale. The next step is to look at the number of units sold per day. This is a pretty easy number to figure out in Amazon, and once you know this, you can calculate how many days of inventory you have left. So for example, if you're selling 10 units a day on average and you have 100 units in stock, you'll have approximately 10 days left of inventory. Now, when you're looking at this number, you have to be aware of various spikes and dips. For instance, if it's right near Christmas and you have a product that is great as a gift, obviously you're going to see a big spike in sales. But some people for Christmas, it can be a very poor time of year depending on the product they're selling. Things like long weekend holidays can affect sales, that type of stuff. So please be aware of those numbers and eliminate the spikes and dips and just try and take an average of how many units are being sold each day to calculate this. And finally, I'd like to talk about placing more orders. So when you're ready to place more orders with your supplier, make sure you consider some of the following things. Know the quantity discounts that you can get. Now, we did talk about this in the past. And oftentimes, if you order just a few more units, you might see a significant drop in the price. It may end up that you have a little bit more inventory in stock, but you save a lot of money, and you'll make more money per unit sold. Maybe consider every 2 or 3 times you order, ask that supplier for a discount. They're not going to give you a discount unless you ask for it, so you may as well. And finally, if you do run out of inventory, and it's almost inevitable when you're beginning, These are excellent times to complete the upgrades and enhancements to your products and or your packaging. Back in the packaging and labeling videos, I talked about how your brand and your packaging and everything evolves. And as you start to sell more, you can make these enhancements to your products and your packaging. Running out of inventory provides you that little window of opportunity to reintroduce your product or introduce that new packaging or make that change to your product. And the reason why you want to do that when you run out of inventory is it also gives you a chance to do things like change the photos on your listing. So for example, if you make a significant change or improvement to your product or packaging, you want to reflect that in the photos. You don't want to put that in too early because customers who see the old photos won't be expecting the new product, or vice versa. You don't want them to see this new product's photos but end up getting an old product that looks different. So take advantage of those little windows of opportunity. We may as well use them while they're there.